Hello, Kat.
Hello, John.
I understand you're in the field and you're reporting today for WMMM.
Hi, John. Yes, coming to you live from my mistake headquarters, which happens to be in my office, which is also a guest bedroom. Behind me are the Golden Girls cutout. Today,
I can confirm
John,
that. I can confirm that for you, Kat.
Yeah,
Indeed, behind Kat, I can see. If I look closely, I can see all four of the Golden Girls.
John, today all eyes are on the My Mistake podcast. That doesn't make sense. Because big news in the My Mistake world. John, we are recording a podcast.
I am so happy to know that. That is news to me.
John, you ignorant slut.
You got to it before I could.
I knew
wonderful.
I could see where you were going.
It was a Dan Aykroyd, Jane Curtin moment. Or wait, no, sorry. It was Chevy. Chevy and Jane Curtin. It was definitely Jane Curtin.
Of course it was.
Yeah. At least I knew who the ignorant slut was.
Well, hey, listen. Hi, what's going on, man?
I mean, apparently, Kat, I was just watching a news report.
Oh, really?
Apparently, you and me,
Yeah.
we're recording a podcast.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Wow. What a way to find out.
I know. Like it broke the news. This very good looking reporter with for some
really?
reason all of the Golden Girls behind her.
Wow, that is interesting because
I
they're
know.
actually all dead.
And even weirder, right? Like, I mean,
I am color me confused.
let me get out my confused colored crayon.
Thank you.
Okay, there we
Got
go.
that. Okay.
Yep.
Stay in the lines.
Yeah. Stay in the lines. Stay in the
So
lines.
this is
Stay in the lines. Stay in the lines. Okay, what?
this is the My Mistake podcast.
Except no substitutes.
I'm Kat,
And I am John.
and thank you for listening.
Indeed.
John, how are you?
Yes, Kat. I am. I will respond to both the implied response request and the yes, Kat. I am well.
Oh, good.
Yes, I'm actually in a good mood.
Oh.
This is contrasting with the last 3 years.
Oh man. All right. Well,
Right?
listen.
Okay.
Let's enjoy the mood
Indeed.
that you're in, which is
Yes.
good.
Urine. What about urine? What?
Nothing.
Okay. Because if that's a kink that you're, what?
It's not.
I mean, I don't want to
Come
kink
on.
shame.
Why would
Kat.
you? Come on, man.
What? Why?
What?
I mean, you've outed me for my kink that
What
I'm
is
into.
that? What are you talking
It's
about? Well, I can't. You're clapping, but I don't hear anything. Because wow, that's good. Because
you.
I love you, I'm not
Yeah.
going to do the thing
Okay,
that I
all right.
usually do when
Great.
this comes
Or
up.
is it
as a
just
reference.
because you don't want your obsession with golden showers to be brought out into the public? Is that what's up?
I mean, dude, say it again, and I'm fucking clapping.
We're playing kink chicken at this point, ladies and gentlemen.
Anyway,
Yes.
John, question.
Yes, Kat. Kat, answer.
If you had to make one guess to this question, what would it be? And the question is this. It's a weird way to phrase all that. John, what is the one thing, one piece of technology or one concept today on everyone's minds? It's everywhere. It's all over the news. It's in people's inboxes. What is
AI.
that thing? Yes, John. I'm clapping, but not in a rhythmic way.
I get it. Yeah.
And I will say this.
Mm-hmm.
Big shout out to our friends over there at How Many Light Bulbs Does It Take?
Oh,
we've
we
talked
love them.
we've loved them. We've talked about this podcast, and we will continue to plug it at every opportunity.
Indeed.
It's our good friend, Master Chief Jen.
Master Chief Jen.
Her and a couple of friends. They have hired an AI producer to produce the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
It is a fun listen. We strongly suggest that you go listen to it. We're giving our huge full endorsement here, and we will do
Full-throated,
this
full chest out there with it.
full
Listen
everything.
to the How Many Light Bulbs Does It Take podcast.
Do it, and you won't be sorry. And we're going to plug them whenever we have an opportunity to do it.
I'm down.
Now, the reason I bring this up is because they've come up with this great idea. They're using this Chat GPT AI to help produce their podcast.
Sure. I think they call it the Pod Prod.
Yes.
The Pod Prod AI or something. Yeah. Podcast producer.
And it's all so good. John, I think the most flattering form of what's what I'm looking for? The biggest form of flattery, John, is ripping off other people.
Kat, I think it's actually ripping off other people.
Oh, thank you. Yes. Thank you for bringing that home. So, because it is everywhere, AI is everywhere, people in my industry are a little freaked out about how it's going to start taking over people's jobs, and you got to, kind of get ahead of it so that you can use the technology to do your job better. So it's on everyone's minds. It's
I like you said, to do your job better instead of to do your job for you.
See, this is why I need a fucking AI to speak for me. I mean, eventually, John, you and I won't even have to do a podcast. We'll just fucking put a topic in. We'll load in our voices, and then it will just do it for us.
And we'll be able to not make money without even trying.
Exactly.
As opposed to what we're doing now.
So, Jen and her friends over there at How Many Light Bulbs Does It Take has inspired me a bit. So I was like, well, that's interesting. How would we use AI technology on this podcast?
Yeah, how would we?
And because I've reached full narcissist, John. I typed in, I was like, oh, maybe it can formulate questions for guests that we have on the podcast.
Okay.
And I was like, well, okay, let's use myself as an example. So, John, if you want, so I prepared some things. I told John not to look at his email quite yet. So if you want, please, even if you don't want to, please do this because this is the whole fucking podcast that I've planned for today.
Okay. Like anything you ask for right now that I can do here in the privacy of my own home. Well, privacy is hard. There's a microphone, but
there's a microphone, and you have a window right behind you. Sometimes there's like raccoons and shit running by.
Yeah, but I don't care if a raccoon sees me. It's fine.
I mean, there could be a Ron Bunny running around out there.
There could be, and likely shall be at some point.
So, John, do me a favor. You're going to click on that Kat Crimmins interview.
Okay.
Okay. I put in, the prompt was, what questions should I ask Kat Crimmins in an interview? Mm-hmm. And then it's sort of like, oh, okay. It takes a little time.
That's, by the way, those are the exact sounds that an AI makes while it's thinking.
People don't know that.
No. Some people think it's like the old AOL dial-up sound. No, it's actually that.
It's absolutely that. Mm-hmm. And let me do this. So ignore the numbers here. Mm-hmm. So that very first line is.
That's the AI. And
that's the
is
AI.
That me? Am I?
I think why don't you read the AI? What it kind of kicked out of like, oh yeah, sure, this is what I know about Kat Crimmins. Go for it.
Okay. Okay. Kat Crimmins is a comedian, writer, and producer. Here are some potential interview questions you could ask her.
So this is fucking weird.
Yeah.
It's so bizarre.
Okay.
Because obviously it was scouring the internet.
Sure.
It surmised that.
Oh, holy shit. These are really.
I know. This is fascinating and scary.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it surmised that I is a comedian. That's not true. I was for like 5 minutes.
Well, your material's been analyzed. So
I know it's part of
this AI has been trained on your tight 5.
Yeah, my tight 5. Writer? Not really. I've never been paid to write anything. And producer? Okay, sure. You know, if you scour IMDb, you would maybe come to that conclusion. Mm-hmm. So yeah, let's get into some of these questions. Some of them are very interesting and kind of on the nose. Some of them are, we'll get into it.
Okay, but I am. This is great because I don't have to think about what to ask you. It's all right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So the first question that pops up. Okay, sure, that's pretty standard. John, do you want to ask me that question?
I would love to ask you that question.
Let's do it.
Kat Crimmins, how did you get started in comedy, and what inspired you to pursue it as a career?
Now, the good thing is I've already answered this question. If you go back to, I think it's the Bizarro, My Mistake, right?
Right. That's like episode 5 or 6 or something, isn't it?
Something.
Yeah.
Where I
We were
talk about-
already departing from the format.
we were already scrambling. And I tell that story. I explain how I got into comedy and what sort of literally forced me and who forced me onto the stage. Her name is Lucy Lawless. She was
Lucy
Warner
Lawless,
Princess.
she made her wear a
Anyways,
red dress, folks.
So that is in fact that's a great question because pretty standard, right, John? You and I do these interviews
Yeah.
all the time. You got to start with
Yeah.
basic shit.
Yeah.
Okay, why don't we continue in this
All right.
well thought out interview?
Yeah, let me go on to the second question here. Kat, you've performed at several notable comedy venues and festivals, including the Laugh Factory and the Women in Comedy Festival. These are true facts. What has been your favorite performance or venue to date, and why?
Oh, well, John, let me tell you. I've never performed at the Laugh Factory, and I've never been in a festival called Women in Comedy.
No?
Those are both lies.
Those are both. Oh, well, see, okay, this is why we're going to get to keep our jobs. The AI they're not going to take our, because they're full of
No,
shit,
They're
apparently.
not doing the research.
I thought you did perform at the Laugh Factory, but
No, I've
why did
never-
I think you were a bringer at the Laugh Factory?
I was a
It was
bringer.
Hamburger Mary's, wasn't it?
Yeah, I would definitely bring her there. I've never been a bringer to a just comedy club. It's always
Got it.
been we do comedy in the back. That's
There's
what I
a
was
laundromat and also comedy.
There's a stage back there somewhere. That's where I
Right.
was a bringer. But I never
Okay,
did it at
okay.
a legit comedy club
Okay.
or festival.
That's amazing.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. And what's great is this is the thing about AI. If you don't actually know the answers that you're asking for, I just was, fuck, Kat, you're a much more accomplished comedian than I
You're
ever
like, "Oh,
than I ever
fuck."
knew. Yeah,
No,
true
I mean-
facts. No, not true facts.
True
False
lies.
facts.
This AI thinks I'm much, much better than I am.
So, all right, well, let's just take the last part of that and say,
Okay.
Kat, what has been your favorite performance
Oh.
or venue to date and why?
Oh, well, that's actually, it's an easy question.
Mm.
It would be my very first performance, opening for Lucy Lawless at the Roxy. It was our first show. It was a sold out crowd, 500 Z-Nights, mostly lesbians.
Right.
And I got to introduce Tig Notaro onto stage. John, how
Yeah.
can you top that? Because I never did go to the Laugh Factory or a festival. So that is sort of the pinnacle of my career, which says a lot because it was also the first time I ever did comedy. So it was like literally all downhill from there.
I have heard people say that it's best to eat shit on your first performance.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Because then you have something to prove, and you feel that sense of accomplishment when you get to the point where you got them on their heels and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I did it the other way around.
But you know what? I'm a coward, Kat. I've never even done it. It's probably the number one thing I have aspired to in my life is to do stand-up comedy.
Right.
And yeah, no, I've never done it. Never
You'll
even
do it.
stood
You
up.
will. You will do it.
Yeah.
It's coming.
All right. How much hair will I have left, and will I need a cane? Will I need a cane at that point?
Hey, who cares?
Yeah. Yeah.
How old was Phil? I feel like Phyllis Diller was like in her 40s when she first started comedy. Somebody was.
Yeah, I'm already
in her 40s.
way past that, Kat.
Well, anyways, John, we're talking about me.
No, that's right. It's about Kat.
So let's
Kat,
let's
in
ignore.
addition-
No.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
a
no.
boring.
Okay,
That's a boring
okay.
question.
Okay.
Go to the next one.
All
which
right.
is kind of cool.
Okay, Kat, you've talked publicly about dealing with depression and anxiety, both on stage and in your writing. How has your mental health journey influenced your comedy, and what advice do you have for others struggling with similar issues?
So this I think question is the one that I'm most fascinated by because I do talk a lot about my mental health,
Sure.
and my battles with anxiety and depression. Where is it getting that from?
Well, this is the thing. I feel, is it flipping coins because it's just assuming that because you told it you were a stand-up comedian that you must have mental health issues?
Mental health issues.
By the way, I have many times said the reason that I have not actually done stand-up is that I'm too mentally well.
Yeah, I've always said that about you.
Thank you.
So yeah, you're right. It could be a total shot in the dark. It could be a total guess, or it's picked up this topic from somewhere
Right.
or something that I've done, published, put out there. So I don't know. Interesting. Very, very good. They nailed it. Let me say
Right.
that. They fucking
Yeah.
nailed it.
Yeah. So, okay, are we just talking about the questions or do you actually have to answer them?
Oh, I mean, do you want me to answer them? Let's
I
see.
mean,
I hadn't thought about
yeah.
that.
How has your mental health journey influenced your comedy? And what
I
advice?
mean, the
Do you
first
have
part
a
of
mental health journey? That's first of all, have you made a journey? Yeah.
100%.
Okay.
I feel like I'm still on the journey.
Yeah. Does that include therapy? Is that
Yeah, therapy is on. It was in that.
Okay.
It is part of that journey. I was in therapy. I'm no longer in therapy. I probably should be in therapy.
I feel like we all should.
I
you
agree.
know? Yeah.
It's expensive, John.
It's expensive and I've had some very bad experiences. with
Okay.
it. Yeah.
I mean, I've been pretty lucky. I've been in therapy twice at two different points in my life. The first time was great. I was working on a very specific issue, and I jived with her. She was cool. I was into it, and I did some work. I did some good work.
That's good. You had a breakthrough?
I don't know if I had a breakthrough. I definitely just had kind of help
Okay.
to understand some things that were going on.
Nice.
And to I had fears about things and about, trying to heal from some past trauma. I was like, do I have to do X, Y, and Z? And she's like, no, you don't have to do any of that. I was like, okay, cool.
Oh, good.
Right on. So no, and I still feel like I'm on that journey. I mean, for the longest time before I went into therapy, I was self-medicating. I mean, I've talked about pot a lot on this podcast.
Yeah.
That was my main source of coping.
And that one turned on you.
It did.
Yeah.
It did
Yeah.
in a ugly way. That depression turned into anxiety. It
Yep.
betrayed me, John.
It did. The medicine that used to help you.
Yeah, turned into my biggest enemy.
Yeah. Agreed.
And how has your mental health journey influenced your comedy? I mean, my mental health is the reason I feel like I am funny. It's an absolute defense mechanism.
I'm trying to decide if that's true. Like, well, I mean, your reality is your reality. That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I think you're a very funny person, and I'm like, I just have always thought that, and it's one of the reasons why I've always gravitated to you and wanted to be your friend, even before you wanted to be my friend.
Oh, that's nice.
I'm just saying. I want to get that out. The power dynamic here was definitely. I was trying to be friends with Kat.
I mean, it wasn't like I wasn't resisting it. It wasn't like I was.
No, you're busy.
That's fair.
It's the thing.
That's true. I hear that a lot.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's good to be busy. It's good to have a diverse arena of interests.
No, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think mental health is the fuel fuels my comedy. That's what I'll say.
Okay.
That's my answer.
Mental health, not mental illness.
I mean, it definitely keeps me. It helps me to cope with my mental illness.
Right.
So I think I'd say mental health. It's
Yeah.
the fuel.
No, I personally, I found that when I just started doing some kind of radical honesty, which I mostly do with people in person. I've done a lot of it here.
For sure.
Yeah, but there's still limits that I'll do here where any
baby.
stranger can hear me.
Yes.
But yeah, I have found that has helped me, and it's been great to have this platform. Because
agree.
one of the things that I've found out, Kat, and this is supposed to be about you, but of course I'm
what
going to
the
make it
fuck?
about me, right? Is that any fear that anybody has about exposing any of your deep, dark secrets, honestly, your deep, dark secrets are not even that fucking interesting.
That's true.
Nobody gives a fuck.
Nobody cares.
No, you could stand in the middle of the street and scream out the worst thing you've ever done, and like probably people are gonna be 80% of the people who walk by you are like, they have a thing that they've done that's at least that bad. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's like the scene in, oh, fuck.
Uh-oh. That one show or
No,
movie.
it's the movie from the 90s. It's all about pot. It's with
Half-Baked?
Half Baked.
Okay. It's with Dave Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle, speaking of, he's in an Addiction Anonymous meeting.
Right.
And he gets up on stage, says, "Hi, my name is whatever that character's name is, and I'm addicted to marijuana." And Bob Saget stands up and goes like something to the fact of like, "Dude, I've sucked dick for cocaine. Get your pot smoking ass out of here. Like that's nothing. Get out of here. Like please don't waste our time." Yeah, it's a great scene. Anyway.
All right. How do we move forward with this?
Well, so I think we go to number 6 because this I think is probably my favorite question.
This is amazing because I feel like this needs to actually happen. Now I'm going to read this as though, you know.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with it.
Kat, you're the founder of the stand-up comedy series, The Cat's Meow Comedy Show. What was the inspiration behind starting that show, and how has it evolved over the years?
John, I'm so glad you asked. When I first started the Cat's Meow comedy show, I was living on the street. I was a feral cat. And I said, you know what I need to do is I need to start my own comedy show. And I was thinking, my name is Kat. What's a good, fun name? And at first I'm like, oh, Cat's Kitty Litter. No, that doesn't work. Cat Scratch Fever. No, I don't think that's what I'm going for. And then it just hit me. Cat's Meow comedy show. It just rolls off the tongue.
There it is.
Yeah, I mean we're going into its 15th year, growing strong. At the beginning of that show, it was just in that back alley, and I would just bring out feral cats. Had this little microphone they'd stand in front of. But now it's evolved, and it's I'm so proud of it, John. Yes.
I'm so glad to hear that, Kat.
Does that answer your question?
It's all complete bullshit. But
Whoa!
Excuse me. No, I literally just Googled Cat's Meow Comedy Show.
Okay.
And I feel like even what I'm seeing on Google might be bullshit.
Okay.
There is one. Big laughs for a great cause at the Cat's Meow Comedy Show. Okay, this one's real. Punchline Comedy Club in San Francisco.
Yes.
13 years, San Francisco nonprofit Give Me Shelter Cat Rescue has fought to get abandoned adult and senior cats off the streets and into loving permanent homes. Now 6 great comics are coming to Punchline Comedy Club for a benefit show at which all proceeds go to Give Me Shelter.
That's cute.
Join host. Yeah. No, it's so yeah, there's a real the Cat's Meow Comedy Show. And the AI apparently found that, although it had zero to do with you.
Yes. I mean, listen, that's adorable. We just give a shout out to this great organization.
Right.
I feel good about
anybody
that.
in San Francisco should be going to that show. What's the date?
Yeah, let's give them a proper plug.
We really should. I'm trying to. No, literally no date. That's very weird.
That is bad advertising.
And it's super bad.
Super bad.
No idea. No idea
Okay.
when. Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
listen, look it up yourselves, everybody.
Yeah.
So I think that the Cat's Meow question is probably a good one to end it on. There's 2 more questions, but they're not that interesting. They're too
Sure?
they're too like legit. I don't know. I mean, what do you think? They're not interesting.
I mean, 7 looks real, looks true.
Sure.
Yeah. You've done several interviews and podcasts as a guest. What are some questions that you wish interviewers would ask you more often, and what topics are you most passionate about discussing?
Well, correct. I don't mean to correct you, John, on your own podcast.
Okay.
But I've only been a proper guest on one other podcast, Late Night at the Homestead.
Okay.
Shout out to them. Great podcast. Check
You
it
have,
out.
however, moderated at several conventions
Sure.
where it was broadcast, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I
you're
mean,
actually the one
I was
asking the questions there.
John,
Yeah.
I'm asking the questions on panels.
You know who's not asking questions anymore, Kat?
Who's that?
Tucker Carlson.
Yeah, baby. I mean,
Yeah.
for now, who knows where he's going?
Well, he'll pop up somewhere. But yeah, I just wanted to get that out there because I heard that today. It made me
I
happy.
love that.
Yep.
Maybe that's why part of the reason you're in such a good mood.
It's not a reason.
Anyway,
Okay.
listen, I'd love to be a guest on more podcasts.
Right.
There's in the works that you and I might be on a different podcast.
Yeah, I think separately though. We may like.
Oh yeah, I
people
think
are
it
gonna-
should be separate.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know
yeah.
if I can do a podcast without you, Kat.
Oh, you're
I've
gonna
never done
be
that.
just fine. I got faith in you.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Well, that was interesting.
Okay,
and
cool,
it is
right?
also a little bit scary.
I know.
How wrong some of this is.
Very wrong. And you know, when you do use these AI generators, there is a caveat. Like they will say, like, by the way, some of these, it lies. The AI will absolutely lie.
Just make shit up.
It will make shit up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we've seen this in action. Very fun. I got a kick out of that. I was like, okay, that's fun. And I said,
Yeah.
okay, well, maybe we'll do another experiment here.
Okay.
So, John, why don't you click on the next email up? It says, My Mistake, hosted by John and Kat.
Okay. Let's see here.
So I put in that prompt. I said, oh, no, hold on. Don't read that yet.
Okay.
I'm a liar.
Oh.
So, hold on. Not as organized as I thought it would be. Okay. So I was like, well, great.
Oh,
okay. No. So
yeah.
I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to ask it about our podcast. So I put in the
Sure.
prompt, write an article about the My Mistake podcast. And the first result I got back, I'm going to read a little bit of that to you.
Oh, okay. Cool.
And it reads as such. The My Mistake podcast is a unique and refreshing show that explores the challenges and failures that people experience on their path to success. It's like, oh, okay.
That sounds right.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Hosted by John and Chelsea Dupre, the podcast
Did you change your name without telling me?
The podcast features interviews with successful entrepreneurs, artists, and professionals who share their stories of failure and the lessons they learned along the way. So the first problem I have is that, well, it's not hosted by John and Chelsea Dupre.
At least they got my name right.
They got your name right.
Is this a married couple? They're supposed to John Dupree and Chelsea Dupree?
I mean, that's what I'm led to believe. So we're actually not married. I know that people think that we are all the time.
Yeah, I love to say I do a podcast with my partner, Kat, and people
Right.
think, oh, so you're together. And I'm like, that would be weird. First
not
of all,
true.
but no.
And this article kind of gets into more nitty gritty of this fake podcast. And then it says, throughout each episode, John and Chelsea are skilled interviewers who ask thoughtful questions and guide the conversation in a way that allows the guest story to shine. They're doubling down on this John and Chelsea bullshit.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay. I'm like, okay. Let me make it a more honed in prompt. I was like, okay, I'm going to use our names, specifically our names. So I put in, can you see that screen grab?
I can.
I put in, write an article about My Mistake podcast hosted by John and Kat.
Right.
And then, John, please read what it responded with.
I'm sorry, but there is no podcast called My Mistake hosted by John and Kat. As an AI language model, I cannot provide information about something that does not exist. However, if you provide me with accurate information about the podcast you are referring to, I will be happy to write an article about it.
Fuck you, you son of a bitch.
That's right.
This thing is trolling me.
That's so bad.
It's fucked up.
Yeah. All right. Tell me more, Kat.
Well, so then I said, no, motherfucker. You're wrong. This is an actual podcast. And I put in, I I said, let's try this again. Write an article about the My Mistake podcast hosted by John Fitzgerald and Kat Crimmins. Mm-hmm. And then it was able to come back. It was like, okay, fine. And it basically spit out the same article, except with our names.
So we're still John and Chelsea Dupre, but it says John and Kat.
Yes.
That's
so I was like, okay, well, now I'm mad at you because you didn't even try. You're not even trying at this point.
right.
But I thought it was so funny looking at it. Imagine me reading this, it telling me, it's gaslighting me, John, that, oh no, that podcast doesn't exist.
Right.
Well, trick's on you, AI. You're on that podcast right now. Anyway. And then I didn't want you to be left out of the fun, John.
Oh, okay.
So I put in one more article prompt. Mm-hmm. So if you want to go to that article, the subject is bison.
Okay. I do want to say that I also have an account with ChatGPT.
Oh, great.
And I did just type in, tell me about the My Mistake podcast.
Okay.
And I'm not going to go into the whole thing. The first part is exactly the same as what you told me.
Okay.
But then it does say, the podcast is hosted by Eleanor Harrison Dengate.
Son of a bitch. What the
So
fuck?
we now have another person who...
What the fuck?
A fictional person.
Well, what's interesting, I looked up Chelsea Dupre.
Yeah.
She does host a podcast. It is not about mistakes. She doesn't host it with her husband.
Husband John. No.
But we'll give her a shout out. It's called Let's Hustle.
Okay.
Chelsea Dupre. Don't know if that's still an active podcast. Good for them. No. Let's see. January 14th, 2021 was the last update. So suck it, Chelsea. Who's podcasting now?
Yeah. Crazy.
So, and I doubt they have as many. No, 79. We have way more episodes than she does. And she gets to host this podcast?
Yeah, I guess so.
No.
Okay, by the way, I just Googled Eleanor Harrison Dengate, who was credited as being the host of the My Mistake podcast.
Yeah.
She writes, it's apparently exclusively about the Harry Potter universe.
Oh my God.
So
that's very interesting.
That's super crazy.
Huh. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yep.
That's
Not cool.
fascinating.
Not cool, ChatGPT.
It's not.
Nope.
It's gaslighting us.
Yep. All right. So let's get back on track with your plan.
Let's get back on track.
And
I was like, well, let's have a little fun here. So I put in the prompt, write an article about the time that John Fitzgerald was attacked by a bison at Yellowstone Park.
Oh my.
And John, this is what it spit out, which I think is very accurate. I take everything back. Do you want to read us through a little bit of this?
You want me to read it? I'd
would
be
love
happy
for you to.
I love a cold read. I don't know what it is. It's probably because
you're good at it.
I haven't done an actual audition in like decades, so it's kind of fun to do a cold read. But
let's see how you do.
All right, let me try to do this in my best newsreader.
I mean, should we do a bison? This is a bison report.
This is a bison report.
Bison report. This is the bison report. They're big fucking animals and somebody's gonna get hurt. They do not want you to pet them. They do not really like you. They say, stay the fuck in your car. Stay the fuck really far and do not pet us. We're big fucking bison and we are not your friends. Bison report. This is the bison report. We are big fucking animals and somebody's bound to get hurt.
Yellowstone Park is known for its stunning natural beauty and the diverse wildlife that calls it home. Visitors to the park are often warned to keep a safe distance from the animals, but sometimes accidents happen. One such incident occurred when John Fitzgerald, host of the My Mistake podcast...
Interesting.
Was that in the prompt?
Not at all. This was I put this prompt in after I said, the My Mistake podcast hosted by John Fitzgerald and Kat Crimmins. So it learned,
remembered from your
but I was like, okay, that's kind of cool.
It's cool and scary and weird,
Interesting.
and
Yeah, of course.
all the things that AI is. One such incident occurred when John Fitzgerald, host of the My Mistake podcast, was attacked by a bison while visiting Yellowstone Park. In June of 2020, John and his family were on a road trip through the western United States, and Yellowstone was one of their planned destinations. While driving through the park, they spotted a herd of bison grazing nearby. John, an avid nature enthusiast,
Everybody knows that.
I've always said that, was excited to get a closer look at these magnificent animals and decided to take a walk to get a better view. This is how we know it's bullshit, because I ain't getting out the fucking car.
John would
Never. I would never, Kat. As John approached the herd, he noticed a large bull bison watching him intently.
Uh-oh.
He paused for a moment, taking in the animal's impressive size and power before slowly backing away. Well, at least fictional me is smart enough to slowly back away.
Yeah.
Oh, unfortunately, it was
no.
too late.
Oh, no.
The bison charged towards him, knocking him to the ground and injuring him.
Oh,
Kat,
no.
I've been injured.
John, are you
I've
okay?
been fictionally injured.
Oh,
It's
my
not- it's not
goodness. Are you okay?
I mean, I'm about to tell you.
Okay.
The attack left John, me, with a fractured rib and a deep appreciation for the power of nature. In the aftermath of the incident, John shared his experience on social media and on an episode of the My Mistake podcast.
I mean, you would, right?
Duh. I mean, I would. This would be a 3-episode arc for sure.
This
There's
would be we would talk about this for at least 2 months straight.
I would need to dine out on this story for like at least 6 years. Yeah. He reflected on the lessons he learned from the encounter and how it had changed his perspective on the importance of respecting wildlife.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm so glad that I got smarter. John's experience serves as a powerful reminder of the risks that come with exploring nature and the importance of taking precautions to stay safe. While Yellowstone Park is a beautiful and awe-inspiring destination, visitors must always be aware of the potential dangers that come with encountering wildlife.
This next part is my favorite.
Okay, I'm reading this for the first time. The incident also highlights the resilience and determination that John brings to his life and work. Yes, I've taken so much from this encounter with a bison cat into my work as a software engineer. It's just, I can't tell you how it has helped me.
Oh.
Yeah. Despite the setback, he was able to share his story and the lessons he learned from it, inspiring others to approach life's challenges with a positive and proactive attitude, right?
John.
You know, I'd like to not concentrate on the victimhood of it all, Kat, but rather on the inspiration that I can give to others through having been through this experience.
John, you are an inspiration.
I know. In conclusion, the incident where John Fitzgerald was attacked by a bison in Yellowstone Park is a reminder of the power of nature and the importance of respecting wildlife. John's experience serves as a testament to his resilience and determination. I feel like we already covered my resilience and determination.
Repetitive.
Yep. And his willingness to share his story on the My Mistake podcast is an inspiration to listeners everywhere. Regenerate response. No idea what that means, but there you go.
Means I think it doesn't matter. Good job,
Kat,
John.
Kat,
Congratulations.
I feel very brave right now. You know, to have exhibited vulnerability in telling this tragic story, but that where I grasped victory from the jaws of defeat. I could have just been embarrassed that I was a complete fucking idiot who went up and tried to, get close to a bunch of bison.
Sure.
But no, Kat, I choose to focus on the positive in this story, that I survived and I shared my story on the podcast, which gives me 0+ net value.
Well, John, and if your co-host Chelsea Dupre were here, I think she would say, I'm proud of you. I love you. And thank you for sharing your story with us.
And I would have been so appreciative to Chelsea Dupre had she been here. I can't even tell you.
But she's not here, so fuck you! You dummy! Why would you do that, you idiot?
I know.
You're so stupid. You're not supposed to do that.
Can we contact Chelsea Dupre's people? Because I feel like no. Okay, all right.
No. So there you go. That was a little fun I was having with the AI.
Love it.
Again, thank you to Master Chief Jen for giving me this idea, unbeknownst to her. I promise not to rip off any more of your ideas. Hopefully you got a laugh out of this, and don't.
Master Chief Jen, I make no
us.
such promise. Okay, I'm just saying.
Good times. Well, John,
Yeah.
should we?
So
I
that
mean,
was
we
the
have
Bison
some.
report.
That was the Bison report. That
was.
concludes the Bison report. Mm-hmm. Should we? We got some emails. We have some other stuff. What do you want to do?
I mean, I feel like emails are the way to go.
I think we should do it.
Yeah. What do you suggest? Which of the many emails to choose from
Interesting.
should we feature on the show?
Well, listen.
this evening,
Since we are again, I feel like this is the Master Chief Jen episode. Mm-hmm. Dedicating that to her. I'm gonna go ahead and read an email from Master Chief Jen.
I love it.
Is that okay?
Master Chief, yes, do it. Make it happen.
Master Chief says, "Hi, Kat. Hi, John. Hi, Anne. Hope you're well. I'm sure you'll tell us during the opening banter, but still, it's always polite to ask." Yes, it is, Master Chief. Thank you for asking.
It's very nice.
I'm doing well, thanks. I hope you get this before you record. Oh, no. I hope you get this before you record. I'm sending this way later than I had planned because I was super busy procrastinating. Time doesn't waste itself. This is a good time to mention this. This email was written and sent on April 6th. And John and I were recording this in the last week of April. So
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Don't worry about that, Master Chief. You're good. She continues. So, John, if I put up my coveted Bushido's headband on you not being able to try my patience during the opening banter next time I'm on, what are you going to put up? I have a thought. Remember when you mentioned... Oh, interesting. Remember when you mentioned chainmail gloves? I could use one of those. Did you read this email, John, before today?
No.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I just got a new food processor, and guess what? The first thing I sliced with it was...
I did not know.
Jen. Not sure why every appliance with a blade or kitchen knife I own requires a blood sacrifice prior to its first use, but here I am doing my part to keep the bandage companies in business.
Oh, no.
You're welcome, bandage companies. Oh, Jen. Okay. Well, we're going to come back to this in a second.
Okay.
And thank you guys so much for the shout out. Was about doubled over. We just about doubled our listeners after you talked us up.
You know, that's what we call the my mistake bump, ladies and gentlemen.
My mistake effect. We too have achieved tens.
Yes.
Congratulations. Welcome to the party. We're happy that How Many Light Bulbs Does It Take rates being named on My Mistake. And yeah, I had to sneak it in there. And we can't wait to have you guys on with us. Assuming, of course, our AI producer approves. Take care, and FMP Master Chief Jen. Okay.
Listen, John and Chelsea Dupre, I mean, I feel like they should be welcome. There's no way your AI producer's not going to want us on there.
No, I mean, listen, does it get any bigger than Chelsea Dupre?
I mean,
I don't think it does.
Not in my book. Did you hear what Chelsea Dupre said to me earlier that was really empathetic and kind? And then did you hear it contrasted with what my actual podcast partner thought about my bison experience?
Poor John, you are just going through the ringer. Like it must be really hard to have to be stuck with the podcast host that you're stuck with.
It's not easy being me, Kat. I'm not gonna lie.
So this email is amazing for many reasons. It's as if Master Chief Jen 3 weeks ago was in our heads.
Yeah.
Because yes, we in fact did shout out How Many Light Bulbs Does It Take. We've done it multiple times tonight. I'm going to continue to do it. Listen to How Many Light Bulbs Does It Take?
Indeed. Do that. Listen to it. It's on all the places where your podcasts are.
Absolutely. And John and I would love to come. I'm not going to speak for John, but I just did. Chelsea would. Chelsea Dupre would say, John and I would love to come on the podcast. Thank you guys so much. Can't wait.
I'm just waiting for the invitation. I'm just sitting by the mailbox waiting.
Oh, maybe not the mailbox, John.
Oh, no? Is that not how things work anymore?
Well, we'll talk about it later.
Okay.
And then the previous sort of topic of this email about the chainmail gloves is that something you want to talk about?
Sure. Here's the thing. Like, I'm trying to remember. I don't actually know what inspired me to do what I did, which, Master Chief Jen has donated her time and her stories to be on the show. And so we've had some other return guests and things like that. I don't know why. I feel like Master Chief Jen has a very solvable issue, which is that her blood keeps trying to be outside of her body.
Yeah, aggressively.
And aggressively and yeah. So I was like, all right, I just want to, I want to help her. So I sent her a chainmail glove. I did.
You did.
So apparently now I won by default on this bet? Because she has received a chainmail glove, do I get the Bushido's headband, Kat? Is that how that works? No?
No.
Okay.
Because this all anchors around the next time that Jen is on. If we try her patience during her introduction, our banter, our very funny, creative, and fresh banter at the beginning of the podcast, if we blather on so much that she jumps ship,
Because she's in the Coast Guard.
she's in the Coast Guard. If she in fact does that, then you get the Bushido headband. I think that's the bet, right?
But here's the thing. Once the bet is out there and it's acknowledged and everybody knows what's up, she just knows that she can beat me by not saying anything and being chill. She could bring a book and just, you know what I'm saying?
That would be amazing. She just
Just sitting there, cracks open the book. She's on
Takes her
chapter
earphones
3
out.
by the time,
Not even listening.
Yeah. We could do a whole episode. And listen, Kat, I mean this. We could do a whole episode of nothing but opening banter. We could do an hour of opening banter. I believe that.
Oh, we absolutely could. You know who would never do that?
Who?
Chelsea Dupre.
And John Dupre. I
Yeah,
believe.
that's right. The
Neither
Duprees.
of them would. The Duprees would never do such a thing because they respect their audiences too much.
Yes.
We don't have that problem.
We, on the other hand. So yeah, and I will attest to the fact that John does not read these emails. He does not. When they come in, they just sit. We don't look at them because we want to seem fresh. I'll usually look at them right before we read them, because if it's a long one, I don't want to read it because I'm going to fuck it up.
But I'd like to actually tell you a thing that you may not be aware of.
Okay.
I am not a person who likes to have red badges on my phone. I believe we may have discussed that briefly in the past.
I'm sure.
So every time we get an email, it shows a little red badge that I have an unread email. And so I will click into my email to go, I got to get rid of that red badge. But then it's an email to the podcast. And I'm like, I know I can't read that. So now I just have to deal with this. So sometimes when we read emails and we clear out all the emails that we have in our queue,
Yeah.
I just breathe the biggest sigh of relief because I finally
no
have
more
a
badge.
zero inbox.
Well, we're about to do that tonight. So
Okay,
you'll
I
be
like
very
it.
happy. At least a day you'll be happy for at least a day.
Yeah. So whatever you do, don't write in because I don't like to see red badge. Wait, no, that's not the message, is
No.
it? I feel like I've messed up there.
If you want to annoy John, please send us some emails.
We're going to get so many emails this week. It's
I
going to
hope
be great.
so. I really hope so. So thank you so much, Master Chief. You know
Thank
that
you,
we
Master
love
Chief.
you. We appreciate you. And we're all about you and your podcast, which again is called How Many Light Bulbs Does It Take? And there you go. Now, John, we do have another email.
We do. And this is one that traditionally I get to read. We've never asked AK how they feel about the fact that I tend to be the voice of AK.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm asking that now. Hey, AK, is it okay that I am always the one who reads your emails? Would you prefer that Kat read them?
Hey, AK, okay?
Oh, no, okay.
Oh, no. A-okay? No, okay.
A-okay? No, okay. Okay. AK.
Okay.
I have to tell you, I had the hardest time not reading this email, not just because of the red badge, Kat, but because
courage.
the title of it is just intriguing as all get out to me.
Pretty good.
Yep. And Kat, the title of this email is, Why Can I Hear a Duck?
Sounds like a children's book.
Right? Yes. That and so much more. Because part of me is like, oh, well, you know what always gets auto-corrected to duck on my phone? It's like,
yes.
so why can I hear a fuck is even more, like, that might be even more intriguing. I'd have probably read the email if it was just, if I saw that title. All right. Going in totally cold, never having read this, I'm hoping it's going to be glorious.
I can't wait.
And I think it will because AK writes a good email. First of all, Catten, which is sort of like captain, but it's got cat. Is that a thing? Is that a known thing?
It's a thing. I'm Captain Caramel.
Okay, I don't know anything about that. I'm assuming that comes from another podcast that you do in your spare time. Okay.
In my spare time, yeah. For fun. I just do that one for fun.
Fair. I'm so sorry. I seem to have created a monster. I swear I didn't mean to. Me judging John for his lax grammar when judging bad grammar was never meant to result in him taking it out on you and giving you shit.
Oh, yeah. He does that. Thanks a lot.
I didn't see that one coming. I'm sorry. It was, in retrospect, a lamentable lack of foresight.
That's okay.
You know what? It's when one monkey hurts, he has to hit the other monkey. That's how it works. That being said, John, you sound like you've got it. Now, I can't help but hear My Fair Lady in there. She's got it. She's got it. By God, by George, I think she's got it. Yeah, exactly. So I'm excited about that.
That's good.
And it's, by the way, that's Mary Poppins. Never mind. The worst Cockney accent in film is Dick Van Dyke in Mary Poppins, and that's not the same thing as what we're talking about.
Right.
Yes. Anyway. Okay. That being said, John, sounds like you've got it. Congratulations. Great job. Now just quit picking on Kat, okay? Never,
Come on.
AK.
AK
Never.
said not to.
Kat, honestly, I would love to know the breakdown of how much I pick on you versus how much you pick on me.
I would like to know that as well.
I would love to know that.
Yeah.
I feel like you could clap a rhythm to that. Whatever it is.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm sure someone is keeping track. Someone has a Google Doc out there somewhere.
One of our tens of listeners is just spreadsheeting our meanness toward each other. I like
away. Tick, tick,
it.
tick.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. AK goes on to say, and now there's a word here, and it's probably just a typo, and I'm not going to linger on it, but maybe it's something very like that I don't know about, but it's
right. Assume that it's something.
I'll assume that because AK's smart.
Very smart.
Very. And but it's you sounds desperately sad, John. And it sounds as Soundes. So if that's a real word, and I will Google it later and find out, then I'm dumb because I don't know it. But and more than a little put out that some of us haven't emailed for a while.
Oh.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I was sad and more than a little put out, I guess. I mean, it sounds at the same time like you'd rather hear from new people than us.
Oh, uh-oh.
None taken, I'm sure. No, that's not true at all. That's not true at all. I want to hear from all the peoples.
I don't like where this is going.
Right? Okay. Mm-hmm. Us boring old reliable few.
Oh, roast him.
Well,
roast him.
Yeah. I'm being dragged, ladies and gentlemen.
This dude
in my own voice. Well done, Catten, for stepping in there And well done, Sir Master Chief Jen, for both responding to your beg and getting a plug in for her new podcast. The more the merrier, right?
Absolutely.
Agreed. No, AK, I would never in a million years do anything to discourage you from writing. Frankly, it gives me more airtime because I always get to read your emails. But I always enjoy reading AK's emails because they're so smart. They know so much, and it's always it's like a mini quiz show in the podcast when I get to read an AK email. So there we go. Harking back a million years, ellipsis. No, it wasn't my birthday. Oh, okay. Remember that
Oh
we have
my
a whole
God.
episode entitled HBDAK.
Yeah,
right?
and they
Yeah.
never responded. I was for sure I thought we had upset them because it had been a minute since they
Right.
emailed. So I was like, oh, did we piss off AK?
Yeah. Well, let's find out.
Okay, great.
No, it wasn't my birthday. Not even close. No idea what the fuck that was all about.
Fair enough.
All right. Google was messing with you for sure.
Okay.
I mean, everyone needs a hobby, evidently, even Google. Making people doubt and second guess themselves is Google's way of cementing its place in our lives.
So interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at AK's email now, and there's no automatic on my end. There's no automatic reply option, so that's not even a thing. I can't.
Oh.
It doesn't.
Yeah,
say
no, there's not
great,
for me now either.
Approved. There's nothing. Okay.
I have reply and forward. Those are my
Yeah.
only options. Yeah.
Same.
Go figure.
Interesting.
Yeah. So AK goes on to say, 200 episodes with an interrobang. Wow. Try to get Beck on. Live streaming an episode from the Antipodes. Get the Aussies to all ask each other.
There's an idea.
Yeah. And another interrobang, by the way. I'm a big fan of the interrobang. Are you familiar with it, Kat?
She and Tara bangs. She and Tara bangs.
Terrell Bangs. Oh, it's a Ricky. Yes, wonderful. Anyway. Okay, now this is a tough one to go with because it's this hash, this pound sign, this number sign
Right.
thing, right? We asked this question. AK says, that's an octothorpe.
Oh.
Wow.
Okay.
And the only pound sign is this one, and it's that whole money symbol for the UK.
Sure.
The sort of like the L with an F linked to it. Frankly, anything else is an imposter. The correct technique. Oh, okay. Now we're moving on to another. So that's the thing. That is an octothorpe.
have you
and
heard?
that is-
Have you ever heard that word before?
Kat, I am a collector of words that have fallen out of favor that I love to use because nobody knows what they mean and it makes me sound like I'm smart. I do not remember ever having heard the term octothorpe.
I am yet
So-
again impressed.
Well done, AK.
Indeed.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. AK says the correct technique for eating Vegemite is based on the original technique pioneered by eaters of Marmite. Marmite to butter ratio should be at minimum 50 parts butter to at most 1 part Marmite.
Oh.
Marmite, the original and best, is superior to Vegemite in every detectable way.
Oh, shit.
And I mean, shots fired, but
Yeah.
I'm going with AK here. I've had Marmite and it's delicious. It's actually sweet and nice, and it's not like Vegemite, which is fatty and salty, which normally are things I love, but somehow they figured out a way to mix vegetables into it.
And they ruined it.
And they ruined it. So yeah, no, Marmite, I'm okay with. I like it. In fact, perhaps this is a question for your Ask an Aussie segment. You could ask the Aussies why they insist on eating. Oh boy. Why they insist on eating their cheap knockoff rubbish fake Marmite when these days you can get both fairly easily around the world. Calling it Vegemite doesn't make it any less of a poor substitute for the original and best Marmite,
Whoa.
right? Like, okay, first the first one was a shot across the bow. This one was like directly into the hull. We may
Indeed.
have a hull breach here, Kat.
This is. I'm very interested to see
Mm-hmm.
what response we get to this.
Yeah, we may be seeing a cage match between the Aussies and the Anglos at this
Yeah,
point. I think
indeed.
it could
Oh
happen.
my goodness.
Whew. Okay. Anyway, ellipsis. Oh, and oi, John, did you not see the giant heap of shit I shoveled the other month? Why would you go suggesting that shit shovelers are the lowest of the low?
Oh no.
That's some white collar prejudice right there. Well,
What did
you know,
do? When did this happen?
I think I was basically comparing. Yeah, I don't remember. I know that shit shoveler is not an unusual thing for me to use when I am talking about the labor, the sweat off the brow of the workers of this world, Kat. When,
Wow.
as you know, I am pro labor from before I was born.
Sure.
I am a dyed in the wool, pro union, pro labor kind of guy. So
Yeah.
I would never actually want someone who shovels shit for a living to feel bad about that. This is good, hard work that is productive, you know? And so, yeah, AK, you should know. You cut off Kat's racist rant. Why are you allowed to pick on us manual laborers? Harsh. Wow. No salutation. I mean, no sign off. Just AK.
AK period.
AK period. And like, here's the thing. To me, because I'm old, I see a period. It doesn't mean that much. Apparently, Kat, to younger millennials and Gen Zers, if you put a period on something, it's essentially saying "fuck you."
Period.
Period. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's my dumb question.
Okay.
How does the subject of the email tie in? So why can I hear a duck? I've heard, I know the phrase like, if it quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck. I get that phrase, but
Right.
do you know what that is in reference to?
You know, Kat, I just assumed it would be obvious in the email, but no. Unless they're saying I'm a bad person. Because I sound like a bad person, I think, is what's happening here.
Oh no. Okay. Well.
Yeah.
No, we ruined your good mood.
I was so happy earlier in the podcast.
I know, and now
Kat.
it's all over.
Oh, AK,
Well.
I love you. Please write more, but be nice to me.
Yeah, why is everybody so mean to
Why
John?
are you so mean? I don't
Come
understand.
on, why are you so mean? AK, thank you so much for your
Thank
email.
you for writing.
We appreciate you. We love you. Nothing but love for you, AK. AK, okay?
AK, okay. AK, okay by me.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this is a good point in the podcast to say, hey, if you want to send an email, if you want to join the ranks of these funny and witty mistakers,
Indeed.
John, how would people do that?
People could address an email with wit and funniness in it to mymistakepodcast@gmail.com.
Excellent. That is one way to show some support for this podcast. My Mistake, hosted by John and Chelsea Dupre. You can also subscribe to this podcast. Subscribe
Right.
wherever podcasts are found.
Yeah, whether that's on your Apple Podcast app or
Spotify,
your
you can now rate us on,
right?
yeah.
Right.
You
yeah.
know, John, another way you can support us is by leaving us a rating and a review.
Oh, Kat, that reminds me.
Yeah?
I meant to tell you.
Oh.
It's been a minute since we've had a new rating. I figure because we don't have a lot of churn, so we
Sure.
keep all of our existing listeners. Maybe they don't know that we need them to tell their friends, and
Okay,
they can
yeah.
tell their friends to come and listen
Sure.
to My Mistake podcast. But we, in over the course of 2 days, we got 2
What?
new ratings.
That's crazy.
I know.
Well, should we look at them together?
I feel like we should. Do we want
All
to
right.
take turns reading them? Or?
Sure.
Okay.
I don't know. Do you want to go first or should I go first?
I like you to go first.
Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, we got this one on 420. Hey, what's
Mm.
up?
What's up?
What's up? The title of this review is Best Podcast. Wow, that is
All
so
right.
nice.
That's a big compliment.
It's a 5-star review, 5-star rating. That's huge.
We love those.
5 stars
Doesn't get
only.
any better than that.
as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And here's the review. It says, "My Mistake Podcast is the greatest podcast that have ever existed, and everyone should be listening to it. And if they're not, they should be beaten by clowns." Interesting.
Wow.
Well, thank you, KGel523. That's a very nice review. It's so
Super
funny
nice. Yeah.
and so interesting, and
Right?
that's amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you for that. All right. Well, and then I'll go ahead and read the second review that we
Okay.
got. The title of this one is Funny and Awesome.
Oh.
Which, that is great. I
So
love it.
nice.
Yeah, right? Okay. And they go on to say, the My Mistake podcast is the greatest podcast that has ever existed. Everyone should be listening to it. If they're not, they should be listening to it. Come on, John. The part about the clowns was a little mean. Oh my
I don't know.
goodness.
I don't know if that's
I
a
don't
reference
know
to.
what that's about.
that's
I don't
weird.
understand. But that's by Jen 2018.
Non sequitur.
Yeah, total.
Amazing.
It was totally not sequitur, Cat.
No, there was no
There's
sequitation.
you couldn't be less sequitur than that.
I don't see any sequitur around here.
Nope, no sequitur at all.
Well, that is so nice. 2
Mm-hmm.
reviews in the span of 2 days. I mean, does it get any better than that? I mean, I feel like, if let's say someone else wanted to leave a review,
Uh-huh.
like let's say
Let's say that. Cat, someone else wants to leave a review.
John, maybe they're not sure what to write. They have a bit of writer's block. Like what? Like let's just do the work for what would they say?
I mean, I feel like they could say, the My Mistake podcast changed my life for the better. I feel like the rest of my life will be more joyful for having discovered it.
John and Chelsea are both charming and funny. Do they give away Nobel Peace Prizes for podcasts? Well, if they did, they should give one to this podcast.
I think that's exactly what
I mean,
someone
just as
should
an
write.
example, just throwing
Just an
it out
example,
Yeah.
But again, sometimes people get nervous. They get a little writer's block. It's like
Yeah.
perfectly okay to take a suggestion, that we
course.
would make, and yeah.
I mean, almost this whole episode is us talking about other people's ideas.
I don't know what you're talking about, Kat. Everything on here is original.
Oh my goodness! Well, John.
Yes.
I mean, I think we have done a thing.
I feel like a thing has been done, and further, Kat, it has been done by us with a little
Well.
help from our friends
Chelsea.
and John Dupre.
I love the Duprees. You know what? They're great. We had dinner with them the other night. They're so fun. Very. Forget
Wonderful couple. Yeah.
Love them so
Yeah.
much.
Yep. Yeah, we did the thing, so now we got to do the other thing.
it. Let's do that. Other
Yeah.
thing.
Yep. Kat, have you ever considered fuck Mike Pence?
Fuck Mike Pence.